As the title is loudly screaming and giving away right now, today I'm going to be discussing vegan versus omnivores. Those who don't eat any animal products versus those who do eat animal products. Here we go. Just to start with, we're going to define vegan, vegetarian, and omnivore. Vegan means that you're not eating any animal products whatsoever. That includes byproducts like milk, cheese, butter, eggs, things like that. Not necessarily the animal flesh, but you won't even eat anything that comes from an animal. That's going to be your vegan. A vegetarian is an umbrella term that refers to those who may eat fish, which are called pescatarians, those who may eat milk products, which are lacto-vegetarians, and then ovo-vegetarians who allow themselves to eat eggs. And then finally, we know omnivores eat both flesh, animal products, and the fruits and vegetables. And we're going to find out that that is the way to go. Let's kick off the bat here by looking at vitamin deficiencies among vegans. And this is not hard to find. You can look this stuff up. I've cited it all right here. Feel free to check me. First, we know that vegans and vegetarians alike have a higher risk of vitamin deficiencies in general. And I'm just going to read this. This comes from the German Nutrition Society. On the basis of current scientific literature, the German Nutrition Society has developed a position on the vegan diet. With a pure plant-based diet, it is difficult or impossible to attain an adequate supply of some nutrients. The most critical nutrient is vitamin B12. Other potentially critical nutrients in a vegan diet include respiratory protein, indispensable amino acids, long-chain 3 fatty acids, other vitamins such as riboflavin, also known as B2, vitamin D, and minerals like your calcium, iron, iodine, zinc, selenium. The DGE does not recommend a vegan diet for pregnant women, lactating women, infants, children, or adolescents. Just think about that for a minute. Basically, anybody who needs growth and development, they are warning you, you're probably going to have some vitamin deficiencies here. Just please just read that again. Um, take it into consideration. It's anyway, moving on. Another study shows us that vegetarian mothers give birth to babies at a lower birth rate. Again, are at a higher risk for vitamin B12 and iron deficiencies and have a higher prevalence of hypospadias, which is just a fancy term for the urethra on a man, on a male, being on the back side of the penis, which is a very, very interesting condition. And basically, it requires surgery. And until the surgery is had, every time the little boy goes to the bathroom, it just makes a mess and sprays everywhere. Your B12, which is also known as cobalamin, your B2 riboflavin, protein, vitamin D, calcium, iron, iodine, zinc, selenium, all among the vitamins and minerals that you are going to have trouble acquiring if you are a vegan. Your vitamin B12 plays an essential role in production of red blood cells, your metabolism, your nerve function, and the manufacturing of your DNA. We know that protein is necessary for your immune system. That's what your body uses to build your antibodies. Your enzyme formation, which is responsible for countless activities within your body. Hormone production, muscle repair, and hypertrophy. All that pretty much goes without saying. Vitamin D necessary for a lot of different things, including reproductive health, and it also increases your absorption of calcium, which we know is necessary for your bone health. And then the last one, I didn't go through all these, but your iodine, your thyroid gland uses iodine to make your thyroid hormones. Your thyroid hormones are responsible for your fat metabolism. The T3, which is triiodothyronine, your T4, which is thyroxine. Those are your main two fat burning hormones. If you have a deficiency in iodine, it is going to cause you problems with your thyroid levels, more than likely. As a matter of fact, in the early 1900s, there was an epidemic of thyroid problems. That's why they started iodizing salt. So when you look on the shelf and you see iodized salt, they put that there because of a deficiency in the early 1900s. This is a big one for anybody out there in the fitness industry who is trying to gain muscle, gain strength, whatever the case may be. Vegetarian protein is inferior to animal protein. But when you get into an argument or a debate with somebody who's vegan, they will jump all over quinoa and soy. Those are really their two heaviest hitters unless you start combining foods. So let's take a look at soy for a minute. We know that soy contains phytoestrogens, and if you look really close, you can see that estrogen is in that word phytoestrogen. What does estrogen do? Well, it can cause water retention, it can cause gynecomastia, it can cause a laundry list of things if you're a male that's really not something desired. And according to a study done by Chavarro in 2008, it decreases sperm count and motility, so it can also affect your reproductive health, especially if you're a man. And also, let's look at the other heavy hitter, the quinoa. If you have 8 ounces of cooked quinoa, you're going to have 10 grams of protein versus 8 ounces of flank steak, you're going to have 48 grams of protein. And furthermore, the protein you're getting from beef, there's not really that much fat in a flank steak. I mean, obviously there's some, but you don't have any carbohydrates at all. So for anybody trying to maintain muscle and lose body fat, there you go. There's a 0 carb meal for you right there. 8 ounces of steak versus 8 ounces of quinoa, no comparison. I can't tell you how many times I have heard a vegetarian say, when I went vegan, my blood pressure was great, my cholesterol improved, I lost weight. Of course you lost weight. You went from eating garbage every day to eating a cleaner diet with reduced calories. And it all has to do with the reduction in calories and probably the exercise that you started doing as well. And here are a couple studies right here. And this is just a reduction in calories, folks. This isn't going from an omnivorous diet to a vegan diet. This is going from garbage to just a reduction in calories. Even if you eat fast food, if you reduce your calories and you lose body weight, that is going to improve all of your blood markers. That includes blood pressure, hemoglobin A1C, fasting blood glucose, cholesterol, and the list goes on and on and on. C-reactive protein even, which is an inflammatory marker indicative of heart disease, that's going to improve. One thing that they do not want you to do on these studies demonizing meat is to think outside the box and start thinking, what kind of holes do they have in this research they're trying to do? And I have literally read hundreds of these studies at this point. It's pretty much all I do for school this semester is just do research. And the holes that I'm seeing in every one of these studies, there is no stipulation on, okay, is he sitting down and is he eating a lean filet with a clean carbohydrate source like a sweet potato and broccoli? Is that what this guy's eating? Does that encapsulate the meat eaters here that we're talking about? No, it does not. They don't stipulate, okay, well, this guy over here, he's a meat eater. He's eating chicken fried steak and Cracker Barrel and McDonald's 4 times a day. But this guy over here, he's eating a lean flank steak, a sweet potato, and zucchini, all cooked with no processed oils. Those are the three ingredients there. So universally, that's the whole I'm finding in all of these studies, and that includes the most recent one I read, which was the China study. There is no stipulation on what these people are eating, and you have no idea what parameters were set and if they were even followed. You can't follow around that many people and start smacking food out of their hand. Oh, no, 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 you're part of this research. You can't eat that. It's going to affect the results. It's just, if you look for the holes, you can find it, period. So going back to the holes in these studies, again, they don't stipulate whether this person is sitting down and having a lean piece of steak, a vegetable, and a clean source of carbohydrate like a sweet potato, or if they have deep fried, deep battered a piece of steak and that's what they're eating. There's no differentiating the two within this research. However, I did find a study where they did stipulate you have to eat lean meat. Guess what? All of the blood markers across the board, there was nothing negative that came from the group that ate lean meat, specifically lean red meat in this case. We also know that beef is an excellent source of protein, vitamin B12, omega-3 fatty acids, niacin, zinc, iron. And as far as the iron goes, this is heme iron. Yes, to my vegetarian friends out there is iron in vegetables too. But we do know that heme iron, which is found in beef, is not found in vegetables. The difference between the absorption rates between heme iron and non-heme iron is going to be 25%. 25% of the heme iron you consume is going to be absorbed, whereas only 2 to 3% of the iron, non-heme iron you get from vegetables is going to be absorbed. There is absolutely no wonder vegans are having trouble with iron deficiencies. Been seeing so many people, vegetarians, vegans, but I eat a meat substitute. Specifically, this one here is called Beyond Meat. Catchy name, I might add. So let's just look at some of the ingredients here. Let's just take a moment. Pea protein isolate, expeller pressed canola oil, which is a processed oil, refined coconut oil, water, yeast extract, maltodextrin, natural flavors, gum arabic, sunflower oil, salt, succinic acid, acetic acid, and blah, blah, the list goes on and on. So I'm just going to touch on a few of these, and I believe y'all will get the point. Here we go with our first ingredient in Beyond Meat. Pea protein is an incomplete protein. It does not contain all essential amino acids, as we know all animal proteins do. So you're not going to be getting a complete protein from this first ingredient here. How about canola oil? It is a refined cooking oil, and we know refined cooking oils have adverse health effects such as diabetes, renal disorders, contributes to multiple allergies, premature aging, ulcers, infertility, arthritis, and the list goes on and on and on. There's another ingredient in your Beyond Meat. How about maltodextrin? Very highly processed, plant-based substance, usually made from corn, but rice, potato, wheat, or tapioca will suffice. And this undergoes really, really high temperature processing. Oh, let's see. Broken down into neutral tasting powder, side effects may include allergic reactions, weight gain, gas, flatulence, bloating. May also cause a rash or skin irritation, asthma, cramping, difficulty breathing. We're off to a great start here with your Beyond Meat, I gotta tell you. Great start. Succinic acid, been said to increase the risk of many gastrointestinal conditions such as duodenal ulcers. ischemic disease, severe renal dysfunction, stomach ulcers, and urolithiasis, which is the formation of stones in your bladder and urinary tract for anyone who does not know. Acetic acid has been reported that 50 parts per million or more is intolerable to most persons due to intense lacrimation and irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat. It has also been stated that repeated exposure to high concentrations may produce respiratory tract irritation with pharyngeal edema and chronic bronchitis. You know, I could keep going with these ingredients, but I think the point has been made here. I want you to look at how many ingredients are in this Beyond Meat garbage and take into consideration that when you eat a piece of beef, it has one ingredient, and it's beef. Many health benefits. We've already established the protein, high bioavailability, all the essential amino acids, heme iron, highly absorbable, high in niacin, potassium. The list goes on and on. We've already covered that. If you think that eating a meat substitute like this, and Beyond Meat is one of the newer ones, on the market. This is a good one. This is a great substitute for meat. I mean, look at the first ingredients that we've listed here. All of them have adverse health effects. How in the world can any logical human being look at that and say, you know what? I think this is more healthy than eating a piece of red meat or a chicken breast. Give me a break, people. So I do understand that some of you who are vegans are doing it for ethical purposes. That you don't think that killing animals is right. You don't think that we should kill cows and chickens and fish and so forth and so on. And okay, good reason. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but when land is cultivated and when crops are harvested, you're killing all kinds of animals. Do you think that when a farmer plows his field, that he's not cutting through some kind of a home, a mole's home, or running over a bunny, a raccoon, a fox? I mean, come on. Just because you're sitting down eating a bowl of quinoa and beans doesn't mean that food didn't cause death of some animals. And I just found a couple of quotes here, and this is from farmers who have been doing this for years and years. Again, you can look this up. You can look all this up. Please look it all up. This is a quote. I've watched enough harvests to know that cutting a wheat field amounts to more decapitated bunnies under the combine than you'd believe. So just where's the line here? For those of you with ethical issues about eating meat, where is the line here? I mean, is it because it's a larger animal? Is it because I don't get it here when you take this into consideration. Here's another quote for you. She stopped speaking when her memory lodged on an old vision from childhood, a raccoon she found just after the hay mower ran over it. She could still see the matted gray fur, the gleaming jawbone, shock of scattered teeth so much like her own, the dark blood soaking into the ground all on one side, like a shadow of this creature's final frightened posture. She could never explain to Eddie how it was, the undercurrent of tragedy that went with farming. I think raccoons are pretty cute. If I saw one, I wouldn't try to kill them, but if you're sitting there eating a bowl of quinoa or soy or whatever, in order for that to be on your plate, I can promise you that animals had to die for it. So if you don't have a problem with that, maybe you should reevaluate your problem with killing a cow or killing a chicken. I don't see the difference. As a matter of fact, bunnies and raccoons are much cuter than cows and chickens, just in my opinion. We're not even going to talk about frogs, snakes, moles, possums. There are other people down here as well, not people, other animals as well. Just take that into consideration. next time you're on your ethical high horse. Just a few themes here I would like for everyone to take away from this video. Number one, just because you're a vegan doesn't mean you're going to be healthier. As a matter of fact, you are at a higher risk for vitamin deficiencies than those of us who eat meat as well. Number two, vegetarian protein is inferior to animal protein. We need protein sources that contain all the essential amino acids. And on top of that, animal proteins don't have any carbohydrates. If we're looking to get lean, we know cutting carbs is one of the most efficient ways to lose body fat. Just another side note there. Third, blood work is going to improve across the board, whether you decrease calories on a vegetarian diet, a vegan diet, or whether you decrease calories as an omnivore, period. And obviously, increasing your activity is going to improve all your blood work as well. And I realize I only covered red meat in this video, and that is because it is the most demonized animal protein there is. Again, for misinformation, finding the holes in that research is very easy. All you have to do is look for it. Just look for the holes. You can find it. Think outside the box. Don't look at these studies and think that there's not ever bias. There's definitely bias in these studies. Other forms of animal protein are going to have more health benefits as well. I may cover that in a future video. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you're vegetarian or vegan, I hope I didn't offend you too badly, and I hope that just maybe some of this information will sink in and maybe you'll start eating meat again. Who knows? Who knows? Miracles can happen. Anyway, hope everybody is having a great week, and don't forget to subscribe, comment, like the video. Much appreciated for the support.